Tell us about how the City-County Task Force on Homelessness is going. There are over 150 homeless people at an encampment on H Street south of Ventura. They have no water. What would you do to provide these residents with water? When was the last time you walked through the homeless encampments and talked with the residents? Describe the concept of housing first.
No.
25 words or less.
Sure. I don't say my name in 25 words or less, as people have learned on this campaign group. Well, just quickly, the last time I went through the encampment was back in March. I was walking through Precinct 5 is precinct down there, and went through there, and it's obviously totally gripping. I mean, and David was with me, and we were driving through going, a city is only as good as its worst neighborhood or its worst encampment, if you will. And so we obviously have a lot of work to do in our city. My thoughts on where the group is going, the City-County Task Force, it's a mixed bag. I honestly, I'm very pleased that we even have such a group, that it's been convened, that Phil Mangano came out, and that that this is an issue that has become more front and center. I think it would be a mistake not to recognize that as an accomplishment, because it wasn't that long ago where, you in this room would probably, Mike certainly has been working for many years to raise these issues, but it wasn't a part of the public debate, and it is now, and I'm really encouraged by that. The feedback I've gotten from some colleagues and supporters who are on the task force, sounds like you're pretty confused. It sounds like they're frustrated. The process hasn't been all that well defined, and they're really trying. They're like drinking from a fire hose and really trying to do this massive work in a very confined period of time. So, as I told a friend of mine who's on the task force, look, they're putting a lot of work into it. They're not really sure if they're going in the right direction. And my thoughts are, look, get as much done as you can. Hopefully I'll be the next mayor, and we'll take the good that you've done, we'll figure out where we need to go from there, and just make sure we do have the solid plan in place that people agree to, and begin execution on it. So I guess it's a mixed bag. I know there are a lot of frustrations about what's going on right now. So
Howard, could I just ask a follow-up question about the water on H Street?
Yes.
Would you support providing drinkable water to the homeless people in that encampment?
Yes.
Okay.
Encampment at H south of Ventura, no water.
Yeah.
What can be done about that?
We need to get services out there while we figure out what we're going to do to truly, take care of the long-term issues. Here's where I see a good opportunity for the city of Fresno and the county to partner, and that is to do a similar project of that of the city of Portland. Have you all seen? I forget the name of the project, but it's an entire center that has housing, that has services, job training, counseling services. The whole 9 yards. It's a full-service campus for the homeless to be, so they can truly transition back into, the life that they had before they were homeless. Or, of course, in many cases, some people have been homeless their entire lives. My wife, prior to going over to the EOC, was working for a foster care agency. And she would tell me the stories of how once, foster care kids turn 18, they're given some money and kind of sent on their way. And if they don't have family or friends or structure, many of them end up on the streets, or many of them end up on Motel Drive. So I think the opportunity that we have here is to really create, the full service campus between the city and the county. But here's going to be the thing. Both sides are going to have to know, going into this kind of discussion, that real dollars are going to have to be invested if this thing is going to really work. One side can't do it alone. I think what the city brings is the capital to build structures, to build facilities, to build housing, to build the buildings. What the county obviously brings is the services. They're doing the services already. What we should be doing is figuring out how we can better coordinate it so they're all on one site. My mother, who works for the county, would tell me different stories about homeless, but also about other issues that people have with the county, where maybe they go to downtown for one service, but then they have to go out to the Heritage Center, the old Children's Hospital, to get the second part of their services. So I think that's a real challenge when you have people that have to go to so many places, and then of course you have a public transportation system that doesn't work, so it's gonna be even that much harder for them to get from point A to point B, which we can talk about later, but, you know, I think the point is that I really see a full-service campus as a real opportunity for us to do something meaningful on this issue.
What's housing first?
You know, Housing First, as I understand it, you know, really talks a lot about getting people into the home first, but also providing those services to go along with it, as I was talking about earlier. I mean, really combining transitional housing and the services so that you can truly give someone an opportunity to get back on their feet.